Welcome to my workshop. This is the final instalment of my oil drum tabletop project. I'm going to coat it in some Liberon Spirit dye. They've chosen a medium oak, so that's what I'm going to coat it with, and after that we'll put some hard wax oil on to give it a nice finish. So we've got a Liberon Spirit Wood dye medium oak, and I'm going to use a foam thingy-me-do to apply it. That's the one side done and the edges. So now I'll wait for that to dry just a little bit, and then I'll turn it over and do the second side. Yeah, I think it's looking okay. They chose the colour, it's nice. Afterwards I'll give it a coat of hard wax oil, give it a nice finish. Yeah, I'm happy. And then guys, I'm getting near the end of these tops now, and they're going to go on top of the oil drums, as we know. So I've got to somehow stop them from falling off. They don't want them secured to the drums, so what I thought about doing is putting a cross in the middle like that, and then of course the drum will go against those. I think that's what I'm going to do. So it'll be a lap joint in the middle, which I've never done before, and then I'll screw these to the tabletop underneath out there. So we've got 49.5. Okay, we're just over it at the mitre saw. We'll cut the square off the ends of these, then we'll measure them to the length we need, which is 560, and then we'll figure out how to do a lap joint. Okay, we'll just find the centre of these so we can create the lap joints. These are 45mm, so we'll mark some lines on here. Just check that. Should fit. Get a square, so we want to cut there and there. So this bit has got to come out. They've got to come out. So we want to go halfway. Okay then guys, I'm going to have a first go at my lap joints. We've got to cut that out somehow. Maybe use my mitre saw. I might use my mitre saw. Just chop, 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 chop. And then I've got to do it on the opposite side as well. So let's have a practice with that one first. I believe there's a way to stop this from going down all the way, but I can't remember how. I think I found it. Right, how do I? Ah, there we go, yes. Do our first chop. need to lower it a bit. Extractor on. That's perfect. The stop's there and it's going down, but of course on this side, because the blade can't go back far enough, so what I need to do is pack off. Yeah, that's it. Pack off this and I'll be fine. So I'll get a scrap piece. I'll lock that scrap piece in place. Right, no. Right. And then we go again. Yep, that's worked. That has worked. Packing that off the back has worked. So now we can put this in, move it along and keep cutting until we get to the end. Hey, that's one lazy way of doing that, isn't it? Or is it a smart way? That is cool. I like that. Now, let's see if this will fit. Look at that. Oh, it's a bit sloppy. Whoops. What's gone wrong there? Oh no, that's not the bit. And there we have it. Fits lovely. I'm hiding the joint. I went a bit wide on that. Oh, 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 oh. I could do with making it a bit tighter really. Okay, so that's working. Okay, we now cut the rest. There we go. There we go, guys. Half lap joints, I think that's what they're called, using my Festool. Brilliant. A little bit of slack so I can get it in easy. Okay guys, I've got the coach screws, these 8mm by 50mm coach screws. I'm going to drill a clearance hole in here for the head, and then I'll drill the hole for the body, and then I'll mark it on the table and we can screw it down. So first of all, let's drill the clearance hole. Next job, drill the clearance hole for the bolt. Nicely in. Okay, so we'll give the cross pieces a bit of a sand. Okay, we just need to find the centre of the table. 12, which is that, and So now it's time to give this a coat of hard wax oil. I'm just going to clean it down with a tack cloth and then we can apply it. So I'm giving that a coat of Liberon hard wax oil. I've made 2 oil drum tabletops. There's only a couple of things I would have liked to have done. I would have liked to have maybe put some bow ties in the cracks for 2 reasons, one for strength and one for looks. However, I didn't have enough time and I'm not practiced enough at doing that. And also I'd like to have epoxy resined the cracks to give it a bit of strength and also just to fill the voids in. I bought some epoxy and I am playing with it, so what I might do is get the tops back off the customer in the future once I've played with it and experimented and know what I'm doing, and then I might epoxy all the cracks for them. I just think it's makes for a nice touch. However, these are meant to be reclaimed tabletops, so maybe the cracks should stay in there. Let's see what the customer says. Well guys, that's the end of my project, the oil drum tabletop. I've had some great fun doing this project and thanks for coming along on the journey. I started with a plan and that plan was this. Pretty rough, I know. Wife took the mick out of my drawing. But we've ended up with this tabletop here on this oil drum. I've made 2 of them. I started with some reclaimed scaffold boards that I put on the planer thicknesser and got them to size. I then glued and clamped them together to make one large board. I then made up a jig, and in that jig I used my router, my Trend T11E router with a nice straight bit to then cut the circle out. After that I sanded them down, going through all the grits, 80, 120, 180, 240, 320. I also rounded over the edges with a nice little round over bit, 6.3mm diameter round over bit. After that I gave it a coat of Liberon Spirit Stain wood dye, and then finally I used some Liberon hard wax oil, 2 coats of that to give it a nice finish. If you remember at the start of the video, I wasn't sure how to cut a circle, so what I did was experiment on a piece of MDF. I cut a square of MDF and then I attempted to cut a circle out of that. I started making a jig, and on that jig I put my jigsaw and I cut round the circle with a jigsaw, and after that I trimmed up the edges with a router. But when it came to doing the actual top, what I found is the jigsaw blade would skew, it would either undercut or go outside. So then I just mounted my big router, my Trend T11E router with a straight bit, and I cut round that with ease. In hindsight, I should have used the router to start with, but you know, I was experimenting as I went along. I've not done this before. But we came out of a good results in the end, and I'm really happy. So I look forward to working you back to my workshop soon, when I'll be starting my next project. Just like to say that during this video I've learned a lot. I got a wireless mic. I need to look at my camera and improve the camera quality, maybe get a new camera. I also need to work on my editing, because I appreciate some of the videos are long and I tended to use fast forward video sequences. However, a few people have commented that perhaps I should just show, for example, putting one clamp on and then the last clamp or not. That will do. You know, once you see what I'm doing, that's enough. So I need to think about editing better, and in episode 7 I did attempt that, so I'm hoping episode 7 is better than the previous ones. But I'm glad you stuck with me. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I look forward to welcoming you back to the workshop soon, when I'll be starting my next project.